All right, what we're going to do today is go ahead and look over the quiz on cellular respiration and photosynthesis. Just like we've done before, look through the process of how we answer these questions. It says, which statement describes the role of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, in a cell? It says A, ATP moves materials out of the cell. Well, ATP, we should remember, no matter what we think of, when you see ATP, ATP should equal energy. And so we can easily answer this question that is ATP transfers energy within the cell. ATP, energy, B is the correct answer. But let's look at the other ones just to see why they're wrong. And what they're talking about, ATP moves materials out of the cell. Okay, well that would be more along the lines of the cell membrane or a process called exocytosis. That's about moving things out of the cell. Then we had cell ATP collects waste for the cell. ATP does not deal with waste. Lysosomes deals with waste products. ATP controls protein synthesis within the cell. Well, protein synthesis, that's the ribosomes. So if we're collecting all our knowledge about cells and the cell membranes, I mean not cell membranes, but the cell and the cell processes, what each organelle does, we can start to see that these questions are pretty self-explanatory. We can figure them out. So just like I said, B would be the correct answer for this question. Moving on to question 2. It says, which process both increase the amount, so we both increase, both of them there, increase the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So we're talking about CO2, carbon dioxide. Well, see, photosynthesis is in A and B, and cellular respiration is in D and C. Well, photosynthesis, cellular respiration, if we remember those equations, glucose plus oxygen yields carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. Okay, that's cellular respiration. Photosynthesis, it's very similar. It's the flip of this. CO2 plus water, but instead of ATP, which is energy, we're going to use sunlight. Yields glucose and oxygen. So if we can remember these equations for photosynthesis and cellular respiration, that's going to be a key to doing well on these tests. Because if we look, it says increases the amount. And so we're looking for something that's going to increase or create carbon dioxide. If it's on the right, what's what we use? We call those the reactants. And this is what we make, or on the products. So if we look, photosynthesis doesn't make CO2, it uses CO2. So it would actually decrease for photosynthesis. Both of these have photosynthesis, so they would decrease. Now, volcanoes will increase. Burning fossil fuels will increase. But the question says both. So that means A and B are incorrect. That leaves us with C and D. The cellular respiration and deposition of sediments, cellular respiration, and decomposition of organic matter. And we're always looking for the best choice. And this decomposing, the breakdown. Something's breaking down and it's organic, which means it was alive, or it's made out of carbon. So things that were alive but are now decaying or rotting, they stink. It's a known fact, they stink. And they stink because of CH4, which is what we call methane. Well, that methane has carbon in it, right here. And it's going to mix with the oxygen in the atmosphere and actually make CO2. So D is the correct answer. And so what we learned from this is that cellular respiration, volcanoes, burning fossil fuels, and decaying of organic matter, that could be trash, that could be dead animals, it could be waste, solid waste of animals. That's all going to be in this decomposition of organic matter. So D, again, is the correct answer. All right, looking at C, our number 3 here. It says photosynthesis includes processes that require light and processes that do not. Which statement best explains why ATP is used in both processes? Well, we go back to question 1. ATP equals energy. If we look through this, ATP is a building block of sugars. That's incorrect. The building block of sugar is glucose. So even though it stores energy in plant cells, yeah, this may be true. But ATP is not the building block of sugars. So that makes it incorrect. ATP collects chemical energy from plant cells and produces light energy to build sugars. Okay, this actually is flipped. There's a lot of things wrong with this statement. ATP doesn't collect energy. The chloroplast do that, or the chlorophyll. And they don't collect chemical energy, they collect light energy and convert it to chemical energy. So there's a lot of stuff wrong with this statement. All right. ATP is an enzyme that increases the rate at which sugars are made and reduces the amount of energy that plant cells need. So it still talks about energy, but when we're talking about ATP, we're talking about the storing of energy. That's what it is, a storage of energy. So ATP is not an enzyme. Okay, enzyme we usually associate with the lysosomes. So not with ATP. So that leaves D. D says ATP stores energy. And that's what we're going to always think of. I know it says ATP energy, but even to be more specific, it stores the energy. It's like a battery for our cells. So there we go, that D is the correct answer. Okay, we're going to look at one more. Question 4. Individuals who lack lactose are unable to break down the sugar lactose. Which term best describes lactose? Okay, so we're looking at something that is breaking down. Breaking down. And so it says which term best describes lactose. We're trying to speed something up, speed the breakdown of something. And so we're trying to speed something up. Enzymes. Enzymes are always going to be about speed a reaction up. Okay. Fatty acid and lipid are actually the same thing. Fatty acid, lipid, fat, wax, those are all the same thing. And then carbohydrate, well, that's going to be when we're talking about sugars. All right. So we're talking about speeding up the breakdown of something. Sugars. Speeding up the breakdown of something. We're talking about enzyme. And so A is the correct answer. All right, I'm going to stop there for this video. There'll be another video to pick up the last 4 questions of this quiz. So hopefully these are helping you out. Just keep with it. Keep going through all the different presentations and videos and things, getting you prepared for that test in April.